Here at the Big Dog Ranch Rescue in Loxahatchee in Palm Beach County, there are over 500 dogs here, and many of them are of large breeds. Breeds that, for the last 34 years, have been illegal to own just 60 miles south of here. This is Bubba. He's a 5-year-old mixed breed dog living at the Big Dog Ranch Rescue in Loxahatchee, Florida. Bubba was found as a stray in Miami, but because of a 34-year-old bill that banned pit bulls, it would be illegal to own dogs like Bubba as a pet in Miami-Dade County.
Really cute, yes.
The ban on pit bulls was passed in 1989 after 7-year-old Melissa Morera, her mother, and her grandmother were attacked by their neighbor's dog in their driveway.
Our neighbor's dog was outside and immediately jumped on me, knocked me over. He bit pieces of my forehead, my scalp with his nails, almost took out an eye, and also my lip was hanging off.
And Miami-Dade County moved fast. Just weeks after the attack on Melissa, the Metro-Dade Commission voted unanimously to outlaw pit bulls in Miami-Dade. And the ban left animal rights activists like Lori Simmons upset for many years.
They're very, very misunderstood breed. It should never, ever be about the breed. It should be about that specific dog.
But now this ban is coming to an end. In June of 2023, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed Senate Bill 942, which prohibits breed-selective legislation in Florida, which means that on October 1st, the bill will go into effect, and all local ordinances discriminating against dogs based on breed will be overturned. And while this repeal will allow previously banned breeds to be adopted here in Miami-Dade County, the new law does not apply to private landlords, apartments, or HOAs.
This is a nationwide problem that we're facing as far as overpopulations across all shelters in the nation. We have noticed that maybe cost of living has something to do with it. A lot of buildings in Miami have restrictions as far as what type of breeds can be owned, which unfortunately a lot of bully breeds are affected by that.
I really hope landlords and homeowners, when they're setting these rules, assess each dog individually before they continue to ban breeds that cost dogs lives.
And while many are glad to see the ban end, victims like Melissa are worried for the future.
I think that once folks now start acquiring the animals more frequently because of the repeal, that there is a likelihood that more people will be attacked.
She hopes the state will reconsider the new bill in the future and leave the decision to the residents.
I'd ask that people take into consideration the danger that they're putting out there, especially in Miami-Dade County, that people that own these dogs are not realizing the harm that they could do to so many others.
But for now, the end of the ban means dogs like Bubba may be able to find a new home in Miami-Dade County. And with the new bill set to go into effect on October 1st, organizations like the Big Dog Rescue Ranch are hoping that the bill will help overcrowding in South Florida shelters. Reporting from Loxahatchee, Florida, Ryan Marshall, UMTV.
Ryan Marshall has been trying to track down some panthers for weeks. Ryan, why is it so hard?
Bailey, this is a sign that visitors to the Everglades will see on the roads inside the park. It warns them to beware of crossing panthers. But it would actually be a miracle if anyone were to see a panther in the wild, because currently there are about only 200 of them left. Hidden in the Everglades and Big Cypress National Preserve is the remaining population of Florida's big cat. The Florida panther once roamed across the entire southeastern United States, but the panther's habitat has been destroyed through urban development and is now only a small fraction located in southern Florida. And over the last couple hundred years, the apex predator's population decreased to around 20 individuals left in the wild in the 1970s. The small population and limited gene pool forced biologists and conservationists to take some extreme measures to ensure the species' survival.
And we made the very difficult decision to bring in 6 female Texas cougars. We released them in the wild. We let them breed one time, and then we removed them.
And while these efforts have helped raise the population to around 200 wild Florida panthers, the species is still considered one of the most endangered mammals in North America.
They're so saturated in the existing preserved lands now, and they've got pressures coming, like I said, from development on all sides. They need to move northward, and they need to be able to move northward safely into other areas, other large forest tracts and preserves.
As development in Florida has boomed over the last 50 years, the urban sprawl has led to small side roads being built through Florida panther territory. And as a result, road collisions are the #1 cause of death for Florida's big cat.
It's basically the areas around Naples continuing to expand eastward. And as these small roads that used to not get much traffic, when they build more and more housing developments, all of a sudden they have a lot of traffic on them. And you have panthers that are growing in numbers and they're moving that way too. And those areas where those roads overlap, they have no protections to keep panthers from running out onto the road like I-75 does.
For decades, the Florida panther breeding range has been limited to south of the Caloosahatchee River, leading to saturated territories. But in 2020, the first female panther and her kittens were seen north of the river. Biologists and conservationists have proposed a plan to allow more panthers and other endangered wildlife to safely move north of the river through the use of the Florida Wildlife Corridor, a web of private and public connected lands across the state that secures access for roaming wildlife.
That corridor is what enables animals to travel throughout the state uninterrupted. And we're working with all kinds of people, Florida ranchers, cattle ranchers, agricultural people, to maintain that corridor. People think about the ranchers and the agricultural people as kind of like the enemies of conservation. In reality, they're not. They're providing huge conservation easements that allow these animals, from the Florida panther to deer to bear, to be able to move up and down the state.
And many of these ranchers are strong supporters of the corridor and the protection of Florida's wildlife.
It's not all about the panther. It's about where the panther lives. If we save the panther, we have to save his habitat.
But some ranchers believe they are not being paid enough compensation in cases where panthers prey on cattle and other livestock.
We can't just save the panther and forget all the people that are going to sustain that food supply for that panther.
The Florida Wildlife Corridor Act was signed in 2021, and an expansion to the bill has been approved in 2023. And biologists and conservationists hope the corridor might be the solution in saving the Florida panthers.
If we can get these ranchers to understand, we get these panthers to start migrating north of the Caloosahatchee, and that panther range extends, I think the panthers have a positive future here in Florida.
For UMTV, I'm Ryan Marshall. Anderson Race Park in Southwest Florida is home to some of the fastest underage drivers in the state. One of those drivers is 7-year-old Harper Gage, and she loves racing and driving fast. Really fast.
My favorite part about it is going in the straightaways. I go whole speed, and passing people, it gets me excited.
Harper has spent much of her life on the track, and for her, racing was love at first sight.
So she was 4 years old. We had some family in town, and they wanted to go do something fun, so we brought them to the go-kart track and just did the rentals. And at the time, Harper was, I think, not even 4 years old yet. But she saw a purple go-kart, wanted to sit in it, and ever since that day, she wanted to drive one.
This pint-sized racer is in the Tag Micro class, which means she is driving with a 50cc engine that can go more than 50 miles per hour. And as a girl racing against mostly boys, what separates her from the competition isn't her gender.
So she has moderate conductive hearing loss. She's missing the middle ear bones called the stapes. They just never formed. When she was a baby, her newborn hearing screenings, she was failing those.
At 4 months old, Harper began wearing a BAHA, which stands for a bone-anchored hearing aid. The earpieces capture sound in the air and carry the vibrations to the inner ear, allowing for Harper to hear better. For Harper, this just means wearing her pink headband, which lets the devices rest just behind her ears. But in order for Harper to put her racing helmet on, she has to take her hearing aids off.
So we never really know what she can hear out there, if she knows that a cart is coming up behind her, or if the vibrations, if she can feel that, and that's how she knows.
But Harper has figured out a way to adapt.
I can hear one ear better because that's where the engine is at. But if someone passes me at the other side, I can hear their engine.
Even at this young age, Harper dreams of becoming a pro racer, and she already has the work ethic of one.
Weekends, it's usually always racing. And when it's not race days, my dad takes me to go practice.
And Harper's parents are supporting her every step of the way.
She says she wants to do it until she's an adult. I don't know, it takes a lot of work, and she's got a lot to learn, but so far she stays focused, and she doesn't, she always wants to show up and try to get better.
She's 7 and she's going over 50 miles per hour, so it's scary, but if it's something she wants to do, we're gonna do it.
For UMTV, I'm Ryan Marshall. In a world where the battle against bullying affects far too many children, one South Florida gym steps into the ring to fight bullying and train the next generation. I visited South Beach Boxing to find out more. Fighting often gets a bad rap, but in reality it can be very beneficial in a controlled environment. One after-school program in Miami Beach teaches at-risk kids respect, discipline, and self-defense through the sport of boxing.
The overall goal of my life is to teach people to fight and be strong and be fully self-expressed and learn to honor themselves. So our slogan is we teach kids to fight so they don't.
Jolie Glassman founded Jolie's Kids in 2014 and has been living that motto ever since. The program is run out of South Beach Boxing on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons by head trainer Romeo Montana, whose mission is to help children through boxing, just like it helped him.
My dad put me in it to keep me off the streets, and it worked. And I didn't get in trouble, and thank God I'm still here doing what I do, doing what I love. So I want my kids to do the same.
And it's here on the gym floor where kids are using punching bags like these to perfect their jabs, hooks, and uppercuts, but they're also learning valuable life lessons to take with them outside of the ring. 17-year-old Keyshawn has been in the program since he was 12. He picked up boxing as an outlet to control his anger.
When I was much younger, I was a lot more aggressive, a lot more, angrier, and this just like, I was able to take my anger on something like a punching bag.
And for an amateur boxer with Olympic dreams, the Jolie's Kids program has greatly changed Keyshawn's life outside of the ring.
But it's helped out Keyshawn a great deal. He's much more, like I said, very calm, very cool, very collective. He's very respectful.
While the training in the Jolie's Kids program is tough, the friendships the kids make in the gym are meaningful.
But our kids play better together than any environment. In boxing, which is funny, where they are fighting, they don't fight. It's only like while they're fighting in the ring, and then they touch gloves and hug after.
And Jolie and Romeo are certain that the lessons and skills the kids learn in the gym will stick with them for the rest of their lives. Ryan Marshall, UMTV. In Biscayne Bay, a team of breast cancer survivors gather weekly to tame the dragon and participate in the unique sport of dragon boat racing.
Dragon boating is a mind-body thing. I often feel like it's an active meditation.
But why exactly did the women choose dragon boat racing? While the sport dates back to ancient China over 2,000 years ago, dragon boat racing was adopted by breast cancer survivors in Vancouver in 1996. Dr. Don McKenzie at the University of British Columbia discovered that rigorous upper body exercise in breast cancer survivors could limit the chances of developing lymphedema, a severe side effect of cancer treatment.
He did a study, and after 1 year he said, okay ladies, I have all of my material, I'm done. They said, oh no, this is too good, this is too great, we've got to keep going.
The sport boomed among breast cancer survivors, and in 2007, Kim Bonomo founded Save Our Sisters, South Florida's first dragon boat racing team of breast cancer survivors.
So I get out there in that boat and I forget about all the problems on the water. And the fact that every woman in that boat has had breast cancer, we're all in the same boat.
The team includes survivors aged from 30 to 82, and they compete in races around the world. Save Our Sisters is currently preparing for the Dragon Boat Festival, hosted by the International Breast Cancer Paddlers Commission in New Zealand this April. But don't underestimate them. They can compete with anyone.
I've even had people at the rowing club, at Miami Rowing Club, and they'll say, what's up with the grandmothers? And we'll go out and we'll kick their ass.
And when the nonprofit team is not competing, they're out spreading breast cancer awareness in the community.
But somebody's going to see us, and they're going to remember to get their mammogram. Maybe somebody's going to see us who was just recently diagnosed, and they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to get through it. Look at those strong ladies.
And while the women are part of a team, they really are much more than that. They are sisters who will help each other no matter what, especially if they have to get treatment again.
We can play together, we work out together, we get healthy together. But if you have to take that route, for whatever reason, we will not leave that teammate alone.
Reporting for UMTV, I'm Ryan Marshall.